Welcome, my name is Debbie and this is Pouring My Art Out for the Lord. And this is part 2 of our Beauty from Ashes journal. We had put together the journal with an envelope base last time and sewed in 3 signatures. So if you want to see how to do that, I'll link that below. And today I'm going to make pockets. So my goal is to make 25 pockets for here. Very simple, basic kind of pockets. What I said in the last video is it's fun to just have, when you start a new journal, you know, especially a larger journal like this, you don't want to have something fancy and over the top in every single page. Well, maybe you do, but if you want to, you know, get this finished in less than a year, you know, you need some basic stuff. So I'm going to do 25 basic pockets. And then you can add, you know, the fun things. You can add, you know, just the extra flips and, you know, the fancy ones that you just saw on YouTube and you're inspired to make. You can add a few of those throughout the journal, but you don't want necessarily every single page to have those kinds of things. So I'm just going to show you 25-ish, and pockets, tucks, belly bands, anything where you can stick things in. So I'm just going to start with a really, really basic one. These were actually cut-offs from making the front and back liner here. So I'm just going to trim these pockets, or these pieces of paper, at 5 inches because my page is 5.5 inches this way, and I don't want it quite all the way so that the page closes properly. So those are 5 inches wide, and they happen to be a really good height for a pocket. They are 3 inches, so I'm going to leave those like that. Then if you have a little bit of a longer pocket, you can just totally eyeball the center. Because I'm doing this on camera, I'm just going to show you how to find the center and punch your thumb hole notch. So this is, I did these at 5.5 and I wanted them at 5, so let's just recut that. There we go. All right, so now we have 5 inches. I'm just looking at which way my bird is here. Okay, so half of 5 is 2.5, so we'll just mark it 2.5. You can just punch them 2 together. You can use a circle punch or an oval punch and just kind of go halfway on, or I'm not even going to go halfway, just a little ways on to the cardstock and punch, and then you have little thumb notches. And then basically you have 2 pockets. Super simple. So then what you can do is you can put a pocket here, or on any page you can have a pocket, or you can put 2 pockets. So I like to sometimes stack up 2 pockets, and I could even do 2 pockets like that. Let me just find another page here maybe that this one has the brown over here. I think I like that better. So I'm just going to, don't think the brown even really needs ink, but let me quickly ink. Okay, and then we'll just glue these on 3 sides. I'm just taking you right back to the basics here for this one. Okay, so I'll just center that one near the bottom. I'm not going to be decorating pockets in this video because I just want to show you kind of the structure of pockets. So if I decorate pockets, 25 pockets, this is going to be a really long video. So I'm just going to make the structure in this video, and then at some point I'll probably show you what I came up with for the decorating as well. Okay, so there are that's the first pocket. So number 2, I cut, this is just another one of my pieces of scrapbooking paper. I'm going to cut this one to 5 inches width as well. And then I'm going to cut it at 6 inches, so in half. So now I have 5 by 6. And then I want to just I just want to fold it up like this, or like this. Maybe I'll do it this way. Yeah. So I want, you know, maybe about an inch showing there. So let me just do it on my board here. So I'm just going to fold this up. I'm not really measuring, but I'm folding this bottom up to where 1 inch is here. Didn't even score it. There's the beginning of my next pocket. Then I'm just going to, well, I'm going to first of all make my center line again at 2.5 inches. And then, because I want, this is going to be 2 pockets and they'll be attached. So I want the thumb holes to be the same. So I'm just kind of matching the tops here. I'm not folding it, I'm just matching them. And punch my notch. There we go. That seemed kind of difficult. It wasn't really, but it seems like it was. Then we have 2 pockets. They're joined. So let me quickly ink that. So that's my second pocket. So this one I can put, let me see, maybe I'm going to put like work signature to signature. So that was signature 1. Ooh, I like it there. So I'm going to put it here. So I'm going to first glue these edges just on the front flap part. You know, and as I'm doing this, you probably have other ideas. You know, you could just leave this part open for a flap. You know, once you start making the basics, that's when, you know, you can be inspired to, you know, take it up a notch and just try something different. This one I'm gluing on 3 sides here, leaving the top open. And I'm gonna put that on my page. And then we have 2 pockets. We have a pocket there and a pocket there. Super simple, basically the same as the other one, except just slightly different. Okay, so pocket number 3, I'm just gonna take what I have left. I like to do, you know, just whatever, I work with whatever piece of paper I have left. So I kind of make up sizes as I go. I'll give you the sizes, but, you know, I encourage you to just, you know, you pick up a piece of paper and think, you know, what can I make with that? So this one is 5 inches wide and it is 6 inches long. So I'm going to cut this one in 3-inch pieces. So this is going to actually start out exactly the same size as our first set of pockets. And then this one, again, I'm going to mark the center, 2.5, punch some notches, just like we did in the first one. Okay, then we're going to work on our 3rd signature here. So let's see what we might like to do here. So this one, I'm going to make them go the other way. These are horizontal pockets. These are vertical pockets. I'm going to stagger them. And I want to find a piece of paper that I want to cover most of it because you won't see a whole lot. I think I'll just stick it maybe there. So let me just quickly ink that. All right, so I just inked, decided to flip one piece over so I have one of these and one of these. And then we're going to put them vertical, like I said, and I'm going to stagger them. Now it matters which way you stagger them. If I glue this one on top of here, and I glue this one here, do you see how this pocket is going to just be just this narrow part? This is going to be glued on top, and I won't have access to my pocket. But if I glue this one at the bottom, and then I glue this one on top like this, then I have this whole pocket, and I have this whole pocket as well. Okay, so it matters which way you do it. You can do it with more than 2 if you want. You can glue 3, you can make them a little bit narrower. You could do like 5 pockets, all, you know, staggered. I like to do kind of a staggered pocket like that. This one I'm actually going to back up a little bit from here because if I want to put something in there, you know, I have to have a little bit of room to stick it in there. So I'll put that one there. And then this one will go on top. So basically I'm gluing this onto this pocket, but I'm not gluing it in the opening space. I'm gluing it in the space where it's already attached. I don't know if I'm belaboring the point here, but so this whole pocket is accessible and this whole pocket is accessible. So there's pocket number 3. All right, pocket number 4. So we'll go back to our first signature. I'm just going to use this strip that I have left over from my other pockets. I'm going to, this one happens to be just over 2 inches, about 2 1/4 inches, but it doesn't have to be that. I'm going to make this 8 1/2 inches long. I might have to trim a smidge off of that, we'll see. And this is going to be another vertical pocket, but it's going to fill up the whole page. I might trim a tiny bit off after I get it glued on. So again, I'm just going to, which side do you like the best? I think I like that side this time. So this is 8 1/2, so 4 1/4 is halfway. Punch a notch. And you can use different things for notches. Let me just show you something. One of these envelope punch boards. And there's actually a punch that's made with the same punch as this without the rest of the board. But so you could use that as well. But I'm just going to put my mark, just center it in here and give it a punch. And it just gives me a little bit different, different notch there. So I'm going to ink this one up. Then I will glue it on 3 sides, just like we've been doing. Just going to line this one up right at the right hand edge here. When you do this sort of pocket, you want it so that you're tucking things in from the center here. You don't want it, maybe if it was on the other side, don't have another thin piece here, do I? Well, like this, if you have it on this side and you're opening here, it'll work, but it can fall out maybe on that side. But if you glue it on this side and then you have your open side here, it just stays in. I don't know. To me, it just looks a little tidier that way anyways. And there's pocket number 4. All right, so pocket number 5, and this one is going to be a belly band instead of a pocket. Just going to grab another one of my pieces of paper. I think I'm going to use this fun side this time. And I'm going to cut a strip that is, maybe I'll stay with my 3 inches. And I want it to be 8 1/2 inches tall. And this one, you can, as a belly band, you could just glue it here at the top and the bottom, and you've got a nice belly band. And it looks kind of plain now, but when you decorate it, it can look fabulous. What I'm going to do is just to show you a little variety. I'm trying not to get too fancy. I want it to be pretty basic. But I thought I would just punch with a border punch. If you have a border punch, just try punching a border punch on either side of your belly band here. And that'll give it another look. Nice to use your tools once in a while. So that just gives it a fun edge here. And there's a belly band. I'll just ink it, glue it here and here, and that will be done. There. So there's our 5th pocket. And we can put something really large in here. That's what belly bands are nice for. You can, use something very large in there. So again, we can decorate it. We can do some other stuff on there later. But that is number 5. So we'll go to our last signature for number 6. Okay, so I got another little scrap for pocket number 5. And this is actually going to make 2, so we'll do page 5 and 6 for this one. So this is 4 inches high. Again, it could be more or less, and I think I will make it, we're making all our pockets about 5 inches wide, so I'll make this one at 5 as well. And then this time, it's kind of a fun color too, isn't it? Let's see. Anything particularly with yellow? Ooh, that looks fun. Maybe I'll use it there. Okay, so then I want to make, I'm just going to use a pencil this time. I want to make a mark 1 inch in from this top left edge. So I'm just going to make a mark there. And then I want to make another mark on the bottom right hand edge there, 1 inch from the bottom of that. Okay, so I've got 1 inch up and 1 inch over, and then I just want to connect those 2 lines. Probably should have done this on the back. And you know, it depends if you want this pocket on this side or this side. You know, you're going to have to mark it differently. So it's kind of a good idea just to get it right on your page and mark it so you know which side you're going on. Just erase that mark. And then that can be a pocket. Actually, you know what? Now that I did it that way, I think I like it this direction better. You know, you can do it this way, or you can do it this way. And I think I'm just going to actually do it that direction this time. So I'll ink it. And then for this one, we only want to glue on 2 sides. So here and here. If you glue up here, then you're making your pocket a lot smaller. Then you'll have to have your pocket here. But if you leave this little short part open, then you can have something sticking all the way out to here, right? So I'm just going to glue there and there. And there's pocket number 5. So we have this part left. Pocket number 6. Pocket number 6. I'm wondering why I'm in the last signature and it's not a multiple of 3. This was pocket number 6. So let's go back to the beginning for pocket number 7. And this is just what's left of this piece. And all we're going to do is make a little top tuck with this one. So we can do it this way. The blue actually matches nice with that side this time. So we can do it that way, or we can turn it over this way. The square part has to be in your corner there. And we can put it up like that. Which side do you like better? I think I like the yellow again. So again, we're just going to leave this side open and glue it on these 2 sides that are around the square corner here. And because that glue has, I don't know, it has a little bit of, you know, if you stick something up in there, it has a little bit of friction just the way it works. So it's, just find something here that I can put up there. If you stick something up there and then you go like this, like it's not going to fall off, right? There's just a little bit of, you know, that glue gives it some friction somehow. So there is pocket number 7. Okay, for pocket number 8, this is again just a scrap. This happens to be 7 inches by 3 3/4. I like the size of that. I'm going to score it. You can score it in the middle. You can score it a little bit to one side. Doesn't really matter. Just my bone folder. So that's 7. Well, let's do it at 4, just so it's a little bit off center. Makes it a little bit interesting that way. Then I'm just going to give mine a punch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this one around my page like that. So I'm just going to round this corner with my corner rounder. You don't have to, you can leave it square if you like. Then I will ink it. All right, and then we can just wrap it around our page here. Now again, you can just glue this on one side. Let me just show you something. I'm just going to glue the flat part on the second page. So just right like that. Get that squared off. So there's my pocket on the flip side of the page here. So here I have a pocket, or it's more of a tuck, so that has lots of room there. You could also glue that side and just have a smaller pocket if you like. And then on this side, you can glue down the bottom and do the same thing, or you could leave it open as a flip. So that would be kind of fun, just to have this one stay open just like a flip. So just for fun, let's do that. And then if we do that, if we leave it open as a flip, then we probably want to glue this part down on the pocket on the other side. If we just glue this down, we don't have to because it's not going to come open, but I'll just glue that under pocket, so that's, you know, that's attached here and here now, here and here. And then now we have a little flip open, so we can do something with that. And just until we figure out what we're going to do with that, we can just put a paper clip there, just so that it's going to stay closed and doesn't flip open. And that was number 8. Okay, so for pocket number 9, I'm in my third signature again. Again, just take a scrap. I want this one to be, I'm really just making this up as I go, guys, so you know, you can definitely make it any size you want. I'm going to make it 6.5 inches tall, and I'm going to make it 4 inches wide. So 4 inches wide and 6.5 inches tall. And then I need another piece that is going to be 6.5 inches tall as well. And I want it to be let me think for a minute here. 2 inches wide. Okay. And then on this piece, I'm just going to score on one side at 1/2 inch, one of the long sides at 1/2 inch there. Like that. And then I'm going to take my corner rounder again and corner round 2 of the corners. So I've got my flap here. So I'm going to do the opposite 2 corners like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make like an envelope pocket. I think I want it to go to that side. So let me just get things inked. All right, so then this one should be just slightly shorter. See how it's just a little bit shorter top and bottom? Because we're going to have to insert that one afterwards. So I'm going to glue on this side, and this side on this one, just like we're going to make a pocket. Actually, we are making a pocket. Again, this can be any size. We can make it centered. We can make it, I'm going to put it at the top. Sometimes we don't put, we put so many things near the bottom that the top is kind of lopsided. So when I have a choice, a lot of times I'll try to put something at the top. So I'll put that at the top. This side is open. Then I'm going to insert this into here, this flap into here. Oh, I think I'm gonna have to what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna taper these edges there a little bit. See how I just did that? So it will fit in there better. Because now that I've got my glue in there, needed a smaller piece of glue there. And I can glue it again afterwards. Okay, so we're just going to glue that on there. So we don't want to glue, we want our envelope to be like there. So I want to glue this side down to the paper. So I'm going to put it on this side, which would be the down side of the flap. And then I'll scooch it in there, line it up, and press it on. Well, you know what I should have done? I should have done a thumb notch on this one. But I can still do that. So again, this was 6 1/2, so I need a thumb notch about 3 1/4. So I'm just going to, it's going to be a little tricky to get it exactly how I want it because I'm not going to be able to see. I'm just going to have to do it kind of blind here and hope for the best. Not quite there. Looks pretty good. Just ink that thumb notch a little bit. It would be much easier to do that before you glued it on. So there we have our envelope. So this opens like this, and this is a pocket. So then we can attach this to the, not attach it, but we can have a closure here. And there's all kinds of different ways to make a closure. We could put a couple pieces of Velcro there. This is catching on here. I'm just not putting it. I might want to just get this edge just a little bit slanted there. So what you can do, if you don't want to have that problem, which of course you don't, is you can, instead of putting this so close inside here, you might need to put make your flap just a little bit longer. So I made mine 1/2. If you make it maybe 1 inch, and then pull this out a little bit so that you have a little bit of margin on your envelope before you close it like that. Hopefully that makes sense. But I'm happy with how that looks too. So we'll do a closure there at some point, but that is our pocket number 9. All right, pocket number 10 we're at. So again, another scrap. This one is 12 inches high. I'm going to cut it down to 5 inches for our width. And I'm going to leave the height at 12 inches. Then I'm going to get my scoring board, and I'm going to score at 4 inches and 8 1/2 inches. On there, again, you can make it any size that you want. I'll show you kind of my method here in a minute. I'm just gonna fold those 2 folds first. So if you open it up, you want this to be slightly larger in between here. I don't know if you can even see that. So this needs to be slightly larger. So this one is 4 1/2. So when this is folded up, we have a little bit of a gap there. And then when this one folds down, we don't want it to come all the way to the bottom. So you can fold whatever size you want, keeping those things in mind. So then I'm going to, on this, so I've got my 4, 4 1/2, and 3 1/2 up here. On the 3 1/2 inch section, I'm going to mark the center point. So that is 2.5 there. On paper, this is really easy to use. This is a little bit thicker, so it's going to be a little bit trickier, but I'm just going to fold down from that point and make it level down here. It's kind of easier if you do both sides at once, but this is a little bit stiffer paper. I'm not sure if that would work easily. Okay, so you just basically at that center point, which I will erase now, you just want to fold those two down like this. Okay, and then you can glue this. This one's going to be a little bit thicker. I probably should have used paper, but so just want to glue that flap down and glue the other side down as well. Okay, and then I'm just going to ink all my edges. All right, so I inked my edges. I'm just inking everything in pink this time. It's Stampin' Up! Cameo Coral pink. So I'm going to glue this one onto here, and there's different ways you can glue this. You can do this as well. I got a little off kilter here, so let me just fix that. You can glue this side, and then you've got a pocket here. And if I did that, I would probably put a notch there. How I would probably do it if I was going to do that, as I would stitch around it, because I really like how that looks, but we're not going to do that today. I'm just going to leave this all open, but I'm going to turn it to the back. I'm going to leave the top unglued, and I'm going to glue these three sides. And glue it on here. And then this flips up and this flips down. So then you can have this for journaling space. You can do a pocket inside here, which I probably will do. In fact, maybe that'll be our next pocket that we do when we're in the signature. So we can put another pocket in there. And then this flips up. This closes like that. We can do a closure here. I think I'm going to do the closures at the end. So if you want to see those, I think I'll do the closures at the end just so I don't get derailed here. And then we left this open at the back, so this is a pocket. So there's our pocket. This is our flip. This could be another pocket, and there could be another pocket there, a pocket on the side, however you wanted to do that. Okay. So we're getting a little bit fancier, not too bad though, pretty easy, right? Okay, so let's use that one. So this one happens to be 8 1/4 inches wide. So I'm going to keep that width, and I'm going to cut it down to about 4 inches high. Then I want to score it probably at 5 inches, because that's how we're kind of making most of our pockets. I don't like it that long, that wide actually. So this one was 8 1/4-ish. I'm going to change it to maybe 7. Yeah, 7 inches. I'm going to clip that off. That looks good to me. Then I'm going to put a notch in the center here, but I'm going to, instead of putting it right in the center, I think I'm just going to put it like in the center here. Like you know, the center of just the white that's showing. And then I want a notch in the center of this piece. So see how I have a notch there and a notch there. And then I'm going to ink it. Okay, so this is a double pocket again. So we're going to open this up and just glue these two short flaps on the top and the bottom. Probably shouldn't do such big globs, that's why my pockets are getting smaller. Smaller being what you can stick into them. So we just folded that, and so this is a pocket here, right? So now this one we could put this way, and we could have a pocket here, and we could have a pocket here. I'm going to put it this way, so then we can have a pocket here, and we can have a pocket here. Okay, just from one simple piece of paper. So again, I'm going to leave the top open and glue the other three sides. And glue that down. And there's our pocket number 11. Okay, pocket number 12. So again, just a scrap of paper. This one I'm going to make 6.5 inches high. And then width-wise, I'm going to make it 9 inches. Okay, so 9 inches by 6.5 inches there. So then on the 9-inch side, I want to score it at 1/2 inch. Oops, 1/2 inch on both sides. So 1/2 inch and 8.5. So that'll be those two scores. And then on the long side, just on one of the sides, I want it to score at 1/2 inch as well. Oh, and then we also need to score it in the middle. So our piece is 9 inches, so we'll score it at 4.5. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I need to take off part of. So I need to cut off the 1/2 inch margin on the bottom on one of the sides. And then I'm going to angle this in a little bit there. And then on this side, I also want to cut off just this little square and that little angle. Okay, so probably didn't describe that very well, but you want to cut off on, this is along the bottom. You want to cut off this whole 1/2 inch section and this little square 1/2 inch section, and then just taper these two sides here. Okay, so what we're just going to do is just make a little pocket. So I'm going to fold that up, glue that down, and then that gives us the bottom of our pocket. Make sense? And then on this piece, so on this piece, I'm just going to also taper those edges. So that one and this one like that. Okay, so then these will fold in like that. And because this is a little bit heavier, I'm just going to make those tapers a little bit bigger because I don't want them to overlap. See how those don't overlap now? Okay. And then on this part, I'll show you what this looks like before I fold it all together, because I'm probably not showing you this one. It's a little tiny bit more complicated, and I'm not showing it as well as I should be. I'm actually trying to hurry too, because I have to be somewhere in a couple of minutes. Okay. So this is what we're going to have. We're going to glue this onto the opposite side of the page that we want it on. So we're going to glue that underneath. And then what we have is we have a pocket that flips open like this. Okay, so this is what your page is going to look like. So we've got 9 inches by 6.5 inches. And we scored it at 1/2 inch on each side and in the middle and 1/2 inch along the bottom. We cut away this whole section of the 1/2 inch and we basically cut this whole thing just kitty corner across that corner there. I probably snipped a little too much now. It's a little bit too much, but that's okay. And then so we angled that, we angled that, we angled that, and we angled that, and we punched our little notch there. Okay, so I'm just going to get it inked up and then I'll show you how to glue it on. All right, so I got it inked up. Then we want to close our pocket first of all. So we'll open this up. This is more just to give you the ideas than the actual, you know, I mean, I'm showing you exactly where to do things too, but you know, there's so many variations for these things. This is more of an idea kind of video than complete step-by-step for every single pocket. But hopefully you're getting the gist anyway. So I put glue on those 2 flaps and I'll fold up my pocket. And there's my pocket all closed up. Okay. And then we've got this flap on this side. So you can glue this flap underneath like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it on the other side of the page. And then on the other side of the page, I can, you know, glue a piece of lace or something there to cover this if I want. But then this side is really clean on this side. But you can do it either way. Again, you can glue it, you know, near the top, near the bottom, not super close to the top because you might want to put something in the pocket. So it's a little easier if you don't do it right at the top. And you just glue that on like that. That's what it looks like on the other side. And then we have our pocket here. And this a flip there, and you can definitely, you know, put another pocket there, put another pocket there. You can always stack those pockets, but that is our basic pocket number 12. Okay, I did pockets 13 through 21, and somehow my video footage got corrupted. That's always our fear when we're doing these things. So I'm going to redo those pockets. I'm going to do it a little bit quicker. I'll show you my finished. This is the one that I showed you how to make in the video that is gone now. So I'll show you how to make it, but I won't do the inking and gluing in my book at this point. I might do that later on my own time, just to do it a little bit quicker. So this is pocket number 13, and it's what I call a library pocket. This particular one is almost 8.5 inches tall, a piece of paper 8.5 inches tall by 5 inches wide. I just have another piece here that I'm going to use this time. This one is 4.5 by 10. So I just want to show you can use any size paper that you want for these things. This one is just super easy. You just fold up however much you want to leave for your your library pocket back like that. I'll just do that. You know, it's just no measurements, just whatever you decide to do. I folded mine up 4 inches if you're interested. Then I'll just put a notch in the middle here. Put all my tools away because I thought I was done. Oh, so frustrating. Okay, and then I'll just round those two corners, and basically we have the same pocket as here. I'll ink around it and all that stuff. I just glued on these two short sides here, so now I have a pocket here, and then when I glued it onto the page, I glued it on these three sides and left this open, so there's another pocket there, so a double pocket. And then this particular one, I just had a little scrap, which I'll probably do for this one too, and I just cut, you know, a little bit shorter, whatever my scrap was, put a little thumb notch and glued that on the front, so now I have a little tiny pocket there as well. So that is pocket number 13. This is our pocket number 14 that I made. I just have it attached to the back of this page. I made them so quick I didn't let the glue dry. So on the back I just cut that hinge, and this flips out, and then we just have a pocket on this side, hidden pocket there. You can also put another pocket here. So just a little bit different kind of flip there. So this particular piece of paper that I had was 4 + 2, so 6 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall. So let's see what I have in my scraps here that might work for that one. We could just do a little tiny one. Let's just do this one. I want to show you some, you know, that you can do this basically with any size. So I said that was 6 inches, I believe, right? Okay, so this one is 6 inches and it's 3.5 inches wide. And we want to score it 1/2 inch. And then we want to fold this back to make a pocket. So on my other one I used 2 inches. Did I use 2 inches? Let's see, so 3.5, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I folded it in 2 inches. It doesn't seem like it was. I think this one maybe I'll do just a little bit less because it's so small from top to bottom. It just seems a little bit out of, I think I'm just going to do it 1 inch. You know, the proportions you can change based on, you know, what you're working with. If it's, you know, a little smaller piece, 2 inches might seem too much. Okay, then you can either do it this way and have your pocket there, or do it this way. I think I'm going to do it this way this time. I'm going to put a thumb notch here. And we have our, so we'll glue here. This one I can, I'm not going to bother gluing it. I'll do all that after. This way we can get through them faster. So that's basically our pocket. So I will attach that to the back of a page like that. I'll just glue that tab onto the back of the page there. And then this will flip open and we have our pocket there. So really quick and easy. Fun little pocket. So that is pocket number 14. Okay, so this is pocket number 15, and this one is a paper clip, a hidden paper clip. I think I'm checking these now because there was a little bit of the glue that was not dry there. So this is kind of our mechanism in here. So this one maybe I'll do a little bit more because it's a tiny bit more complicated, maybe not hard, but. So let me just grab a piece that might work for that. What do I want? So now let's just cut into one of these pink pieces here. Another pink piece here. This one is 3 inches wide, so I'll make this one 3 inches wide as well. And my length will be 8 inches on this one. I'll make this one the same size. It was a good size. Okay. And then we want to score this in half. So I've got 8 inches, so score it in half at 4. If you have a different size piece of paper, just score it in half. Okay. Then I will make a couple little pockets. It's not quite flush there. I'll make a couple of pockets. Ooh, that's perfect. Okay, just get my little trimmer out here. I don't know why I'm not using that. And I'll make pockets that are, these ones were 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches actually. Okay, so 1 3/4 inches. Again, this is, you know, use whatever you have. It will work. So this will be our 2 little pockets. I'll just line them up and punch a thumb notch in the middle. And then these can go on the outside. It can go that way or it can go that way. I kind of like that way. So maybe I'll just take the time to glue these ones here. It'll be hard to show you the whole mechanism if I have everything completely loose. Okay, so there's one side and the other side. Okay. And I will ink and stuff that afterwards. So now we basically have this. Then we need to do our paper clip mechanism. I have these 2-inch paper clips here. You can use anything, but these ones are 2-inch, the larger ones. And I just need a piece of paper that is at least 4 inches, because that's what size that was exactly 4. Let me just see if I have something that's just a slight bit longer. So I think I'll just use this. So I'm going to cut this at 5 inches. The width doesn't really matter. The other one that I did it was wider than this one, but that, as long as it's wider than the paper clip, that is fine. Then I'm just going to fold that in half. This part you're not going to see. And then put the paper clip on the folded part. So this part is open, you put it on the fold like that. I do like to just round the bottom of these corners just so that it goes onto the paper a little bit easier after. I have some packing tape here. You probably don't strictly have to do this, but I like to tape my my paper clip on just for a little extra insurance. Tape on this side and a little piece of tape on the other side. Okay, so we just taped on our paper clip, And then we need to put glue all over this, just the one side for now. Okay, and I'll open this up, lay this down in the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect. Butted right up to the top here. There's needs to be room for the paper clip, but and just press that on for a minute. It's going to take a couple of seconds for that glue to dry, especially on that plastic there, but then I'm going to glue the other side just on this paper clip part. Don't get any glue on this backing. You don't want that to be glued together. Okay, and then just press that over, and you just maybe have to hold that for a few seconds to get that to glue. Okay. And then that's our paper clip. So that one just goes, it's open there, but our mechanism is in between, sandwiched in between those two layers. So we just put that over the page like that, and we've got a nice paper clip. And it's also a pocket, so we can put, something in the pocket on this side and something in the pocket on the other side. Oh, got my pocket a little bit. So put something in the pocket there, and we can also take something and put it up into the paper clip there. And that will hold that on as well, because there's a paper clip there, and we can do that on both sides. So that's kind of a handy little pocket. I don't know if I said this on the video footage that was deleted or the other video footage, but I'm mostly making this video for ideas. I'm not going to show you start to finish every single project. So I'm not decorating things. I'm not putting the tucks and stuff in here. This is just basically a pocket idea video. So you can get a whole bunch of ideas for pockets, and then do the decorating on your own, or maybe I'll eventually show you what I've done in my journal here. But I'm not going to show you start to finish on one or two pockets. I'm showing you 25 pocket ideas. Okay, so pocket number 16. I've got another piece of 12 by 12 paper here, and it doesn't really matter. There's the other one that I did. That would be at the beginning again. This is the one that I did on the footage that's gone. So I just ripped out a little corner tuck and inked it, and this is a super easy one. This particular one was 4 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall. So that was pretty good size. Let's do a 4-inch strip here. And I said 5.5 inches wide, doesn't have to be, I think that one I just used a piece of scrap, so it was whatever size that piece of paper was. Maybe I'll do that one so that it's on the other side here. So basically you just kind of rip from corner to corner, however you want. A little bit more rounded, a little less rounded, however you would like it. And then ink it and just glue it here and here, and then you've got another pocket. Just a simple pocket, but it's an interesting pocket. You can also add another little pocket here for something on top. So that is pocket number 16. So pocket number 17 is actually a belly band, and we just made this little belly band while I made it. So this one was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 inches by 3 inches. So let's do what have I got here? Grab a piece of this. I'll make this one a little bit narrower, just for something different. So 2 inches. And 9 inches was a good length because I want it to be mostly the length of the page. Although I have made them smaller. I've made them smaller, like I fit them right around a tag. So I don't have a piece I can show you with. Like if I had this, I just wrap it around the tag like this, and then I'll glue that together. I probably would back it up just a touch. I don't want the tag to fall out, but if I put something on the tag, I want it to still fit in there. Then I would glue that on the back, and then this would come in and out. And this would, you could either overlap it and glue it, or on this one I made a little label thing. So that's another idea, but we'll make it the same way as this one this time. So I want to just score on two inches on each side. So 2 inches and 7 inches would be 2 inches on each side. This one I rounded the corners. I will ink it before I glue it on, but it will be like that. And then on this one, I just grabbed a fancy punch that I have here. And let's see, does it work on this one? Sure, use a little scrap here. And then we can glue that onto there. So I'll ink it and whatever. Then just glue on just these 2 sides and leave this part open. So then we have this big belly band here. And this one, you probably need something a little bit thicker. Like if you just put a tag here, it's probably gonna, well, it's not too bad. So either, you know, a few tags or just something kind of doubled over or something a little bit thicker, so that that one will stay in there because it's a little bit roomier there. So that's our pocket slash belly band number 17. Okay, this is our pocket 18. So it's a triple pocket. So we've got a pocket down here, a pocket here, and a pocket at the back. This one is, you know, all the way down. So it's a deep pocket. So we need 3 different pieces for this one. This particular one was 4.5 inches wide, but we don't have to make it 4.5 inches wide. This one is 4 inches. Let's do 4 inches. This might be the right, almost perfect. So I need one piece 4 inches by 6 inches. 4 by 6. Then I need one that is 4 inches by 4 inches, but I don't have that one right here. So I need 4 inches by 2 inches. So that's this one. And then I need 4 by 4. What other color do I want? This is kind of a nice color just to bridge those other colors. Let's see if I have a smaller piece of that. Nope. Okay, so I'll just cut a piece of this. Which way do I want my stripes to go? Actually, it doesn't matter because it's 4 by 4, so I can try it both ways. So 4 by 4. Okay. So we've got 4 by 6, we've got 4 by 4, and we've got 4 by 2, and we just stack them on top of each other like this, and we have 3 pockets. Put that one this way or this way. I think I like it this way, then all the colors show. Then I'm just going to turn it upside down and put all of the tops at the bottom so that I can punch a notch in all three at once, and that way they're all the same. It's nice to have them all the same if you're going to have something lined up like this. And then you can go back like that, and then we just glue on this side, this side, this side to these two pockets, and then the same thing with this pocket. Glue here, here, and here to there. That's attached, and then we glue here, here, and here to the page, and then we have 3 pockets. So I'm not going to bother putting this one on. But where's my journal card? I think I showed you this already anyways, but so 1 pocket, 2 pocket, 3 pockets. So that's pocket number 18. We're getting there. We're catching up to where we were. So 3 more. Pocket number 19. Then I started using envelopes for the next 3 pockets. This one was the next one. So I just had an envelope. I cut it down to 4.5 inches. This particular envelope is 4 3/4 inches. You need it to be slightly narrower than your page. If it's not, you can kind of fold it and glue it until it is. And then this one I might not even just show you again because it's super easy. So you just cut down your envelope wherever you want. This side is sealed, and yeah, I give you the measurements, and then just punch a notch in the front, and then the back is glued completely onto the page. You don't want to leave that one open. So there's our pocket, and the back is not a pocket. You can also make this one, you know, go sideways, however you like. This was the color of the pocket, so I just left it. I just added a little bit of a trim there. And that's basically our envelope pocket number 19. Super simple. So 20 is also an envelope. This is kind of a fun one. This is basically very similar. You just take a pocket and you cut it. Maybe I'll try. Let's see what I have here to show you this one again. Okay, so this one is, okay, so this one is a little bit wider. I think actually that one was wider too. That's why I've got that little glue mess there. So I'm just going to, got a little bit of mess going on in the back here because when I was opening this card I was not careful, but it is pretty color for here. So I'm going to just, I scored it at 1 inch, and I'm just going to fold this back. If you don't have this size card, you don't have to worry about this. Okay, so I have that, and then I'm just going to cut off this. We just need one of these sides for a flap. So I'll just cut this part off here. And all I'm doing right now is just making the envelope smaller. And then I can tuck in there. And then there's our little bit smaller envelope. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on here, just to glue the 2 sides together here. And there's our little bit smaller envelope. And then what I did is I just cut down one side here a little ways, and then tore it across however I like. When I get to the other side, I can snip that off. You could put a little bit of a decorative edge on this one if you like. If you've got any funny stuff on the other side for your envelope sticking up, just maybe give that a glue down so nothing gets stuck in there. And then you can ink that edge. Looks really nice inked. You can round the corners. I didn't do that on the other one, but I think this will look nice. And basically there's our pocket. This one we would glue the whole thing down again. So we would glue the whole back on, and then this is our pocket right here. Envelopes just make such wonderful pockets. They're, you know, from side to side, and they're just, you know, kind of lightweight, and they just make a really nice pocket. So there was pocket number 20. Give myself a little map here so I know what I'm doing. Okay, pocket number 21. This is one that I've made a few times, and I probably have taught it on my channel a couple of times, or given a little tutorial on my channel a few times. There it is. So this one, I just need a piece of junk mail envelope, I think. This is what I cut off of this envelope, and I actually used it for inking here, but that is totally fine. I'm just going to use this one. It's going to be a different size. I'm just going to glue this flap shut. If it's not already shut on yours, you can glue that shut. When I open my junk mail envelopes now, I just cut, when I open my envelopes for taking my stuff out, I just cut a little slit here usually, and then I have a nice size pocket for whatever I want to do in my journal. I used to just kind of rip them open willy-nilly, but so I'm just going to put a tag shape on either side here. So I cut it on one side, flip it over, and cut the other side just so that they're even. And then I will flip this down on this side. And basically that's our pocket. On this one, I covered the front, so I would open this up and take a strip of whatever and just glue that on there, and then glue this down. Now maybe I'll just do this one just to show you. This one has got a couple more steps, so I glue the whole front on here. That, and turn it over and trim that off, the excess. This one I've made with different book pages and stuff like that too. It's fun to do that. And this looks like it might be a nice piece for an insert. So basically what I do is I make this second piece just a little bit narrower than that part, so I'm just going to stick it out a little bit on that side and cut it flush on this side. Oh, I did that actually the wrong way. I need to go this way, don't I? And not too much, maybe not far. Okay, so now it's a little bit narrower. Just make sure it fits inside there. Perfect. But you want it to pretty much hide everything. So then I'm going to glue I'm going to glue this side down. So the side that you don't want to show, just put a little strip of glue on there and stick it in your pocket just a little ways. You don't need it very far. Kind of make it even. You still want it to cover the whole flap at the back there. So just like that. Then I would trim away this part. Of course, ink everything. In fact, I guess I have to ink this if I'm going to seal it, because I won't be able to ink it later. You can also cover this flat part. Some envelopes are white inside. You could just leave the white. This is kind of a neat little pattern. I thought I would just leave it. Okay, and then I'm just going to glue this flap down. Oops. And these can be obviously any size. I really like this little size too. And there's our pocket. So we would put glue on the entire back there, and we would glue it on there, and then we've got a pocket. So any size, cute. So that's pocket 21. So now we're caught up to where my footage got destroyed. So I've got 3 more pockets for you. So these ones are not in my journal yet. So I will make these next 3 pockets live with you. All right, so then our next pocket is pocket number 22. And I'm going to grab a piece of paper. I'm going to use this one. I need a 4x8 inch strip. This is 9 inches, so actually that will work as well. So I'm going to do it, I want 2 squares, so I'm going to do 4.5 inches by 9. And then when I fold it, I will get 2 perfect squares. So this one you need like one measurement to be twice the length of the other one. So we have a 4.5 and we have a 9. Okay. And then this I just sort of do by eye. I just take one of the, so my fold is to the right, take one of the corners, the top corner, and I fold this down so that it's, I want it to be straight, you know, parallel there, about maybe 1/2 inch or so away. So just like that. Then I want to take the other top corner and I want to fold it about the same distance away again. So like that. Then I tuck this one inside or to the back, this one to the back, and there we have a pocket. And I'm going to, especially because this is a little bit thick, I'm going to leave a little bit of a border there to tuck to the back, but I'm going to cut this piece off. And we can actually use those to make a couple of more little pockets. These 2 triangles. Okay, so then we have this one to fold to the back and this one to fold to the back. So I'm going to just glue these flaps down. You could probably just cut it straight off if you wanted to. It makes a nice edge if you tuck it to the back like this and glue it. And this one. This paper does not want to stick tonight. It must be as tired as I am. All right. So then I want to just do a little bit of inking as usual. All right, so then this one, you can either do it in this way or like this way. I'm going to do it on this side because I like it on the pink here. So I'm just going to glue this pocket shut here along the bottom. And then I'm going to glue it on 2 sides. So again, along the bottom and the very back. And on the side, the 2 straight edges you want to glue. And we'll tuck that right there. And then this gives you 2 pockets. So we've got a pocket in the front there and a pocket in the back there. And this one, because I left this part open, we can actually put something in all the way, you know, to the corner of the journal there on both of them. So there is pocket number 22. Okay, for pocket 23, I actually just inked the edges of those 2 triangles that I had cut off the pocket before, pocket number 22, and I just glued one at the bottom, one at the top on another page. So you can use this for a pocket at the bottom and a pocket at the top. Or you can take something bigger and you can tuck part of it in the bottom, part of it in the top, and then you've got, you know, one piece of ephemera tucked into both pockets. So that's another neat idea. So that I'm calling pocket number 23. Okay, and for our last pocket in this video, pocket number 24, I've got two pieces of paper and they both measure 5 inches by 4 inches. So I want you to take a pencil and I'm going to line this up on my grid, and I'm going to, on the two sides here, so on the left hand side from the top I'm going to measure 1 inch, and from the right hand side from the bottom I'm going to measure 1 inch. And then I'm just going to make a pencil line. You could just freehand it from this point if you want. Just going to make a light pencil so I can erase it. Cut those two pieces. And then we should have, if we flip this over, we should have two identical pieces. Just gonna erase my pencil mark. That one. That looks good. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing on this one. So 1 inch down from the left top and 1 inch up from the bottom right. Join those two lines with my ruler. Just do a really light pencil mark and cut it. You can also cut this with the trimmer if you like. I have done that before, but I think it's a little harder probably to see in camera if you do it on, if you do this type of cut on the trimmer, what's the word? Okay, so I'm going to put it right here in my final signature again. So then I want to just play with my pockets and just see what I want to do. There's different ways that you can do this. This is what I'm kind of intending to do. So I'm just kind of maybe a blue or a green one next, and define all. Then I have all 4 colors. I think I like how that looks. So you can play with it, you know, crisscross however you like. You could also do like 2 like that and then do these 2 on a different page, or you could put them up here. So then you have 2 pockets down here, 2 pockets up here. Actually kind of like how that looks. I'm going to ink it, and while I ink about it, while I ink, I'm going to think about it. Alright, so I did decide to do it this way. So I have a green on this side and a green on this side, and then these are switched this way. So the pink ones are more prominent in both cases. So what I want to do to glue these on, there's different ways you can do this. Let me just see which is going to be. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue the very bottom of this pocket. If you make these pockets, you'll find your own way to glue them, because there's different ways you can glue them. You can just kind of measure it and put a pencil mark. But let me just do it that way. And then what I want to do is I want to have this pocket so that it goes all the way down. It could stop there if we glue the bottom of the green part, or it can go all the way to the bottom. So I'm going to make it go all the way to the bottom. So I actually just want to glue this side and this side of the green. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. And then what I want to do is when I put it in here, I want this corner to be hidden by this side of the pink. So I want to have it straight in here, and I want this just under there so that it's hidden. I want it lined up. I want this straight over here. This is going to show a tiny bit, so I'm just going to wiggle this around until I get that hidden. And there's my green piece. Then I need to glue the two sides of the pink part because I just glued the bottom of that. So I'm just going to kind of open it at the side there and stick my glue in. There's that side. Okay, the other way that you can do it is I'll put my pink one where I would like it. I want to kind of line it up with what's underneath here. And then this one has to go, so this corner just disappears underneath here. So actually, what I want to do, I was going to mark the top here, but I want this to be right at the very, very top. So let's just glue the green one on first this time. We didn't even put the pink one on yet. Then we want this straight. So I'm just going to kind of line it up on the side here. I want this top point right at the very top. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Once you get tags and stuff in here, you are really not going to see if it's off just by a little bit. Okay, so now we have this, but no bottom on it. Then on our pink piece, I want to do this side right. On the pink piece, we want all three sides glued this time. So pick the way that works better for you. I've seen this glued on other ways as well. Okay, so then I want this to go down, just so this is hidden. And this is lined up. And it's almost down to this line, which is kind of interesting. So if you get it glued on right, then you can't see any of the green peeking out on either side of the pink like that. Okay. So this one gives us 4 pockets. So we've got one here, all the way down to the bottom here. A more shallow one on the pink, a deeper one on the green, all the way down to this pink, and a shallower one on the pink. Did I say pink for this one? Green. So a deeper one for the green and shallower one for the pink. So that's our last pocket. That's pocket 24. And I know this video is getting really long, but I've got timestamps so you can kind of jump around like you want. I'm just going to show you a few little closures that I've done on some of the pockets that I promised I would show you closures at the end. So I was looking over my pockets and I thought I had more that needed a closure, but I only found 2. So that'll be quick and easy. So for this faux envelope one, the one that we did with a little flip, I just cut out 2 scalloped circles. I think they're 1 3/8 inch, but you could use a square, you could use a heart, you could use anything. You could use a piece of ephemera. I've done that many times, just, you know, like a label or something. This is just what I had handy. I did 2 because my flip, this is pretty heavy because it's kind of heavier paper and then it's folded over. So I thought I would just join, I don't know why I inked that one. I didn't have to ink that one. I thought I'd just join 2 together. It would be a little bit sturdier. So I'm just going to put glue on this first one. And put the other one on top. A little squish. And then I'm just going to glue half of it. Maybe not even a half, like, you know, a third, little over a third of the bottom. And then I'm going to put it here. And then that'll just tuck in. Just move it down a little bit. So you can kind of put this over top, and then you can kind of see, you know, where your little closure can go, and then that'll just tuck in there, and there is super simple closure. And then the other one, I thought I would use a Velcro dot. I use these often. I purchased these ones from Temu, I believe. I have 2 different sizes. They're both really flat. So there's a little larger size and a little bit smaller size. They got 2 sides. One side is clear and one side is like the fuzzy side. So super easy, super cheap. You buy, the last time I bought, I think 1,000 of them or something in a pack. So they'll last a while. So you can decide which side you want the fuzzy side on. I don't think I really need it, but I usually add a little bit of glue, extra glue onto the sticky side. Just because I like to glue my projects to death. And one on this side. I think I'll just do one on each side like that. You could do the same closure we just did in the other one too. That would work. So many ways to do these. Then I'm just going to put this upside down. So the sticky side is facing up onto those dots. And I'm going to add a bit of glue again, probably don't need to. Then I'll close them up. And this one I'll have to just leave it for a second until the glue takes hold. Okay, I think it's pretty dry, so just be careful. So it'll open like that. You put your stuff in, close it up, super simple. And this one is probably dry as well. So like that, and just tuck it in. Super simple. So that is 24 pockets. Thank you for sticking with me if you watched the whole thing. I've time-stamped all of the pockets so that you can go and just revisit the pocket that you want to look at, so you don't have to go through this whole entire video to see the pockets. But I think this is going to be a great reference for myself, so I hope it's going to be a helpful resource for you as well. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see kind of the same thing, like 25 inserts, tags and cards and different things, kind of the basics again, and you know, maybe 25 extras like cluster and paperclip and tab and you know, kind of those extra things that we sometimes put in, maybe 25 of those or something as well. But let me know if that would be of interest to you, and I'll check the comments, and we'll go from there. So thank you again for watching this very long video. Blessings, and we'll see you soon.